The book of Genesis, the first book of the Bible, lays the foundation for the rest of Scripture. Spanning creation, humanity's fall, and the beginnings of God's covenant with His people, Genesis tells the story of how everything began and why it matters. The creation story Genesis opens with one of the most profound statements in history. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. In 6 days, God created light, the sky, land, seas, plants, animals, and finally, humanity, Adam and Eve. Everything was declared very good. Humanity was made in God's image and given stewardship over creation. On the seventh day, God rested, establishing the Sabbath as a day of rest and reflection. The fall of humanity. God placed Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, a paradise where they could live in harmony with Him. However, they were given one rule: not to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Tempted by a serpent, they disobeyed, eating the forbidden fruit. This act of rebellion introduced sin, suffering, and death into the world. Adam and Eve were banished from Eden, but even in their punishment, God showed mercy, promising a future Redeemer. The Great Flood. Generations later, humanity's wickedness grieved God, and He decided to cleanse the earth with a flood. He chose Noah, a righteous man, to build an ark and save his family along with pairs of every animal species. After 40 days of rain, the floodwaters receded, and God made a covenant with Noah, promising never to flood the earth again. The rainbow became a symbol of this promise. The Tower of Babel. As humanity repopulated the earth, people sought to build a massive tower reaching the heavens, the Tower of Babel. Their goal was to make a name for themselves and defy God's command to spread out. In response, God confused their languages, scattering them across the earth and creating the diversity of nations. The patriarchs, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Genesis shifts focus to Abraham, a man chosen by God to begin a special covenant. God promised him descendants as numerous as the stars and a land for his people. Abraham's faith was tested when God asked him to sacrifice his son, Isaac, but God provided a ram as a substitute. Isaac's son, Jacob, later renamed Israel, became the father of 12 sons who would form the 12 tribes of Israel. Jacob's favorite son, Joseph, was sold into slavery by his jealous brothers but rose to power in Egypt. Through Joseph, God saved the family of Israel during a severe famine. The legacy of Genesis. Genesis is more than a collection of stories. It explains humanity's purpose, the consequences of disobedience, and the beginnings of God's plan for redemption. It introduces themes of creation, sin, judgment, and grace that resonate throughout the Bible. From the first act of creation to the family of Israel, Genesis sets the stage for the unfolding story of God's relationship with humanity.